Welcome to day 16 of 100 days of automation. Today we are going to create a social graph of no-code Twitter. First, we'll collect tweets of all no-code people. Then, using those tweets, we'll generate a social graph. So let's see how it works. We'll use this API that I've built in Craftar to analyze each tweet, extract interesting data, and then store all of that inside Airtable. Now let's collect tweets from some of the cool people we know in no code, and you can see there are so many tabs open which shows how many cool people there are in no code. So let's just click on extract tweets in a Chrome extension. I'll choose the number of tweets to fetch as 50. I'll skip retweets because I want their original text that they've shared, and I'll click on run automation. So once I do that, you can see every 3 seconds we'll scroll down, and we'll continue to do this till we have around 50 unique tweets for Ash. So once we've collected this data, what will happen is we'll see this data in our Airtable. So you can see that we've started collecting data of Ash and all of his tweets. Awesome. Now we can come in and collect data for Kelly. So we'll give the number of tweets to fetch as 50 again, skip retweets, and click on run automation. So we can see the same thing. Every 3 seconds we scroll down till we get around 50 tweets. And once we get this data, we'll be able to go to Airtable and see all of Kelly's tweets. So we can see that we've got her tweets here, and great. So like you can see, there are already 500 records. So I'm collecting the records of as many people as I can, probably around 20-25, and then we'll see something awesome happen. So now we can see that we have gotten around 1620 records, which are all tweets from all the awesome no-code people. It took us only 5 minutes to collect 1600 records, and now we are going to use this data to draw our social graph. So this is a beta Craftar tool where you visualize different kinds of graphs. Automatically you just plug in your Craftar API key to get awesome visuals. So for our social graph, we need a API. So this is the API in Craftar which gets the data from Airtable and transforms it into the data that a social graph needs. So we'll come to publish and we'll copy our API key, and then we'll paste it here and click on setup graph. So once I do that, we have all these members that we crawled all the tweets for and all the keywords from all their tweets. So let's see what we can do. So first let's filter by tools. So once I do that, I can see this graph. So if I focus here, I can see all the people who use Bubble, and then I can see all the people who use Notion, and I can see all the people who use Webflow. So there are a lot of people here and the graph looks messy. So let's remove some tools for now to simplify the graph, and then we can probably see some patterns. Okay, awesome. So now we can see that people who use Bubble are over here, and people who use Webflow are over here, and we can see that Shiku is the person who uses both Bubble and Webflow, and then I can see people who use Airtable, and then here we can see people who use Airtable and Software, and Cat is the only person who uses both Bubble and Software from our list. So this is awesome. What I can also do, so let's say we choose Ash. So we can see all the words that Ash has mentioned across all his tweets, and we can see the people he has mentioned as well, and then we'll choose Max. So now here we can see Ash on the left side and Max on the right side, and we can see all the common vocabulary that they've shared. So it's interesting that they've both mentioned Rosie Sherry, they've mentioned masterminds, and they've also mentioned community. So now let's just look for somebody else. So KP is probably, he runs a lot of communities. So now here we can see what is common between KP and Max, what is common between KP and Ash, and what is common between all three of them. So no code and community is common. So that's very interesting that we got this insight just by looking at their tweets. Awesome. Now we can also do some other stuff. So we can filter by work. So we can see all the people who have mentioned marketing or strategy and writing and so on. So this graph can lead to pretty interesting insights. We can see who all are the people who have mentioned freelance or freelancing. So you can explore this in many different ways. Just go down to keywords, You can search by keywords, so we can look for Dale, founders, and all the keywords that are there across all their tweets. You can find some really cool stuff, and you can compare different members together. I'll share the link in the tweet. You can find this link and play around with this graph. So for part 4 of social listening system, we built a social graph and made it easy to visualize all the data that we collect through our automations. And graphs can be really useful to see connections where it wasn't really obvious before. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.